Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, type in good morning. Edric, Samuel, LJ, what is up? Shivam, good morning. Christopher, Spencer, Ignore, Liam, good morning. Michael, good morning. Friends, we're at our last class. This is our last workout together. What are we doing? We're going to have a quick look at our sadness. I love, what I was doing before I was setting up, and one of the reasons why I set up in a rush this morning, because I was having so much fun. I relax by doing logic. So on Monday mornings, my idea of a good time after I've taken my walk in the morning, I drop my kid off at the bus stop. I'm like, yay, I get to do some logic. I give myself a little window just to have fun and relaxing, because propositional logic for me is, I wouldn't say easy, but if the specimens get, well, I would say easy, but if the specimens get a little bigger, it's fun. It just occupies my mind, and I love it. And so, there's lots of stuff online. The thing for anyone who wants to continue doing this, remember, you got a couple of options. One of them is Philosophy 3150. That's now it's called intermediate logic, intermediate formal logic. You can do that. That doesn't show up a lot. I'm thinking I'm the last one who taught it, and I made it a point to put it on the schedule when I was chair of the department. But you can look at a bunch of stuff online. The only difference is, Edric and everybody else, if you look for stuff online, if you want extra practice for this class, or let's say once you're done, you want to keep learning, is that especially for propositional logic, which is one we're working on, the systems are going to be different. So what I mean by system is, there's different kinds of doing logic. What we're doing right now in this third month is what's called natural deduction, where you get to basically introduce these hypotheses that you then discard. Those are the assumptions, and you try to show anything you want as a sub-proof within a proof, and so on. But there's also what are called sequent calculus. There's all sorts of different ways of doing things. And even within the subset of what we call natural deduction, there's different systems in that they use different inference rules. And we have 10 inference rules. If anyone's curious to see where I rip those off, Kalish, Marr, and Montague, Techniques of Formal Reasoning, second edition. First edition, same system, but they added some extra stuff. Just the early parts of that book. I like it because 10 inference rules is a pretty small number. Most systems of logic that you'll find online are going to give you more. So just be mindful of that. There's a lot of adaptation that you would have to do. So it's not like there's a one-to-one match between whatever you find online or in another textbook and what we've done in this class. Each one would be a bit different. So it's the Wild West. That's not to say that those systems are not as interesting. I just find that I've chosen one that I think students respond best to. So just be mindful of that. As a response to Edric's question, but my friends, does that make sense? Everyone, if that was clear, type of clear. If you got a further question about that, since this is our last chance to talk to each other, if ever you want to look at stuff, go ahead and ask. So clear or question? Cool. All right. It's there's a lot out there. I mean, I own. I mean, a lot of the stuff is in storage, but I think I must own about 120 logic textbooks. Just so you know. And so I've seen it all. And there's a lot more than that. So, but you have to pick and choose. And so when you teach, and so I've picked the system. I hate the book that I just mentioned because pedagogically it's a complete and utter nightmare. But system-wise, it's a gorgeous little system if you can sort of dig between all the, the painful non-prose prose. And you look at the actual system itself, it's beautiful. All right, so what are we doing? Well, have a look at our main document, and today we're having a practice sandwich. So let's not waste any time. Let's go have a look at our main document here. I'm just going to mainly go to the week-by-week breakdown. Just a reminder, because it is our last chance to talk to each other. Today we're doing our final quiz. Remember, there's 3 quizzes in all. Like, keep your best 2 results. Let me go back one page here. We're at the bottom of this, pre-test, prep, and practice. So everything that we're doing is supposed to, and there was a change here. I moved the third quiz over here. So we're doing that today midway. And so this is your last chance. I'm hoping that by now you've done all the homework. Remember that the prep for, you've got lots and lots of exercises, arguably more than you'd get in any other class, I think. So 4 times 21, it's a pretty high number. Remember that what you should be doing is we redo them again. One of the things you can do is you go over, especially your second, third, and fourth homework. The first one only involved conjunctions and conditionals. So you might redo that again for what it's worth. That's no big deal. In fact, you might with all our resources now that you've got your 10 entrance rules and your theorems, but redo this stuff. And if you've done everything I told you to do, remember, you should have been doing 3 a day since March 6th. So if you've done 3 a day since March 6th, you know this stuff. You got this. You're totally going to kick butt. And the idea is I don't want your muscles to grow cold. So April 3rd, that's today. Next week is going to be April 10th. That's Easter Monday. There is no class. That's why today is the last class. One of the things I don't want you to do is I don't want you to say, oh, okay, fine, I'm ready for the test and not do anything. Please try to maintain that pace of 3 per day. I feel like that's a reasonable pace. Anyone who's done that pace can attest, I think, that that's a nice, sweet Goldilocks zone where you keep your mind active. Remember that the exam on April 17th is going to be at 8:30 a.m. You don't go into Big Blue Button. You're going to go on the main Moodle page, and right underneath where it says the main exam thing, that's where you're going to see the actual exam. Let me now just kind of show you. Hold on. Can everyone go down on our main Moodle page, just before that final video of the showdown of karate there, it should say official exam period, test 3. Can everyone scroll down and see if you can see that? Type in yes if you can see that. I'm glad folks are ready for today. Cool. Well, right above that upload spot is where you'll see the Word file. All right, so on game day at 8:30 a.m., not 10 a.m., 8:30 a.m. So if you show up at 10 and you lost an hour and a half, that's on you. You're not going to make it up. Don't be a fool. Wake up earlier. Notice here I give you a lot of advice because, again, my attitude is that of a coach, and I want you to really perform at your best. I don't judge people. I judge performances, and I don't just judge any performances. I judge performances within a finite amount of time, and so do your best to represent yourself well during that time. Remember also that cheating is a horrible thing. I'll get you kicked out of school. That's not a good thing, but short of that, show me your best, right? Terrific. And so everyone knows where the exam is going to be. Everyone knows where we are. Are there any further questions about our main document here, our blueprint of where we're going, where we are? If everything's clear, type in clear. If you've got a question about the exam, ask away. Remember, it'll be 25, so 5 questions times 5. Same as everything. The quizzes is just more of the same. More time. Just a reminder, you have a technical problem uploading. What's your grade? Let's say you're late. You don't upload. You send me an email attachment. What's your grade? 0, exactly. So make sure you gotta do it, and it'll always be the same weight, Edric. I'm keeping it just like the quizzes you've done. So five questions. Yeah, 25 times 5. So 5 times 5, same grading as the quiz, same everything, just so that no one is surprised. Yeah, online obviously and synchronous. It's not in person. So just like we did for the midterm. So just like we did everything so far, Dimitro, nothing different. So there's no classroom, online. Yep, just same thing. The clicker starts to click. Yep, that's it. 8:30 a.m. You download that question file. You start at it and have your Red Bull ready, and then before 11:30 upload. Right, so 11:30 would be your due time. Yeah, make sure you write it up and all the advice I gave you here. That's it. So everyone's clear on what we're doing. That's absolutely terrific. I want everyone to kick some butt. I don't want anyone making foolish mistakes. I will shoot down foolish mistakes, so please don't make them. Don't do anything stupid. Show me that you know your stuff. Let's do some practice. Let's go for specific questions. You tell me which homework, which argument, and we're going to do some stuff. If you have a specific question, I don't have any more practice for you. So remember last time, this was all we did was I threw new arguments at you. I don't have any of that. So have a look at your homework. Take a few minutes. I'm going to have a bite to eat. We have another 35 minutes to practice together before our quiz. We can fine-tune a couple things. Go over your homework now. And I'd like to hear from folks I haven't heard from, because if you're lost, I'm there for you as well. It's a pretty vague question about I want to use BC and CB. And that short answer to that would be, if you find yourself with a biconditional, do a BC, unpack them, just to give yourself lines, right? So that's just dumb advice. The rest is just depends on what you're seeing in front of you. Yeah. Anna's typing, folks. And I want to hear from folks who I don't hear from. So I'm hearing always from the same maybe five or 6 people. And that's cool, but they might not necessarily be the ones that need my help most. So I want to hear from everyone. If it's not a panic attack and it's a focus question with something we can actually look at, I'm perfectly happy to answer it. There's the third derivation homework. Theorems. All right. Um, okay, so that's a good question, Hannah, and that I can answer. So the theorems, because we didn't speak much about theorems because they're kind of self-explanatory. But the theorems, yeah, you can go from either side of the equivalence. You can go back and forth, right? So if you have what is on the RHS, you can convert it with the theorem in the format of LHS. I'm not sure what RHS. Maybe it's just me. I'm stupid, and LHS means. Help me out. Right and left side. Okay, cool. Sorry. You can tell I don't spend a lot of time on chat rooms and stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, Hannah. So, but this goes, we learned this connective a long time ago, right? So whatever is on this looks like the Amazon logo. So whatever's on the left side, whatever's on the right side, you can swap them without loss. So that's what theorems are. They're ways of saying the same thing differently. Right? And if it helps you, and you've seen one of the reasons why we do that is we restate them in ways that employ different connectives. And what that means is now they're answerable to different inference rules. So what you do is, let's say you have a situation where you have a conditional, right? And then you take that whole, whatever it is, a compound proposition that has a conditional, we know how to change that into something that involves, let's say, a conjunction, right? One of our theorems allows you to do that. And then once you have that, then that's great. You get to do other inference rules. That's actually going to be the negation of a conjunction, right? So, but you guys know these theorems. That is it. And then you deploy them correctly, right? That's really important. And remember, there's a file on this, and I made it a point of saying is you deploy for the entire line. So the theorems apply to the entire compound proposition, not parts thereof. Yeah, that's an important file. So that's part of your homework, is you have to go over that. Make sure you apply these properly. And then that's a lot of hand waving stuff. If we could have something more concrete, that'd obviously be better. But yeah, that's good. Good question, Hannah. And again, we want to make good use of our time now. And I think the best way of doing it is having actually something in front of us. You should, well, it's too late now, but you found an error on question 10, fourth derivation. Cool. Let's see if that's the case. That could totally be. Fourth derivation, I'm going to go over the answers, and we're going to see if there's really a mistake there. And either way, we'll win. Because if there is, then I'll clean it up. And if there isn't, then we'll understand why it's not a mistake. Let's have a look. Let me set up this file, and then I'll screen share it. And that's one of the beauties, by the way, of having my own materials, because you find typos in textbooks, by the way. I have worked with textbooks on a lot of stuff. Alexander says maybe question 10. All right, cool. So if there's a lot of people converging on that, then maybe that's correct. Maybe there is a mistake. Let's have a look. Let me share screen that. And that's really cool, by the way, to have a bunch of folks proofing my work. That's amazing, right? Because that means these files get better. So question 10. Line 12. All right, so am I right? Am I looking at this correctly? This is the one that we're concerned with? Question 10, Edric and Alexander, are you talking about the same one? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's have a look here. And folks are saying at line 12, 6 and 11. Yeah, that can't possibly be working. It's there's something else going on. There's something else going on. Yeah, that's effed up. You're right. There's a mistake there. What is it? Just an annotation mistake? 5 and 11 by 5 and 11. That's right. 5 and 11 by MP. 5 and 11 by MP. 5 and 11 by MP. Good. Let me just give myself a little note here. Actually, will be the fourth homework, and I'll write here something I can easily check with word search. 15, question 15, the numbers are wrong. Let's have a look. Let me just, perfect plumbers, can you, before I move on from this one, I just want to make sure everything is good. I've just changed this 5, you're right. So here's my antecedent. Here's my antecedent, 5 and 11 by MP. Perfect plumbers, do we approve? Can I move on from this one? Answer 10. Good to go. Good. All right. Perfect plumbers. Thank you, my perfect plumbers. It's really nice to have a bunch of perfect plumbers. And Kamal said, and Indivir said 2. Let's go for 2. Let's see if there's a mistake. Let's go for 2. And it could be that there is. The fourth homework is a recent one that I built. So that's the recent addition to the mix. So that's maybe a work in progress. Indivir, where did you find a mistake? I thought there wasn't. Indivir, do you see anything here? Is anything perfect plumbers? Is there a problem here? You spot something? Because someone, I thought there wasn't. It's the wrong one. Okay, it's the one I fixed. Okay, cool. And someone's saying question, was it Kamal? Said question 15. Kamal, is that what you want to have a look at, 15? Thank you. This is productive, by the way. At least we're looking at something concrete, right? That's why proofing is important. This one I beta a few weeks ago because I previously only had 10 for the last week, and I build these up. I beef them up all the time. Cool. It's just the numbers that are duplicated. All right. So oh, I see this. I see this. All right. It's this here. Is this what you mean? Come on. Good call. Yeah. All right. Cool. That's an easy one to fix. Let's fix that up. So that would be line 20, line 21, line 22. And so what that would mean is I use 19 by simplification. That annotation still holds. I use 19 by simplification. That still holds. And then what did I do? I went line 2, R, and then line 20 over here. Perfect plumbers, including Kamal. Did I got this right now? I changed this. I changed this. Good spot. That was, you don't pay attention much. At least I don't pay as much attention to this. So I let my guard down a little bit. Right? So nice. I'm going to write core again, just a core. This is just my way of letting myself know. Oopsie. Core. Just after all the word search, and I'll just remind myself that these files have been updated because I manipulate other files than the ones I keep clean. Indivir says, wait, I'm actually pretty dumb. There's an error on Q2. It's on line 4. Line 6. All right, let's go back. That's no problem. I'm pretty dumb too. I'm saving my energy. I'm probably going to give myself a second coffee. Not sure how far I want to push the gas pedal today. We were talking about question 2, line 4. Could be that there's a mistake. Sometimes the small specimens, I sort of keep my guard down. Where's the mistake on line 6? 3 and 5 by MP. So that should be 3 and 5. Am I right? So 3 and 5 by MP. Cool. Nice spotting. I know it's funny. This morning I was thinking about this. I thought, well, maybe fourth homework will have a little more typos because it's a new homework I just constructed. My goal would be to build another one for this final week, but it just takes a while, right? You know, course prep is like, you know, it's basically more labor for me. It's not like those hours are counted anywhere. So I'm making all of this stuff on my own. Good. Perfect plumbers. Let's just, again, any mistakes here? Perfect plumbers? Not just in the but let's converge on this. Spot me. Beautiful. All right, terrific. Thank you. This is awesome, by the way. Thank you, everyone. You have a question for 20. All right, Kamal, that's concrete. Good. We're spending our time well. And we're warming up, right? Because every time I ask this, you folks have questions. There's always a little bit of silence, and it takes folks a bit of time to warm up, look at their homework. If we were having a meeting another week, I'd be like, start looking at your homework a little earlier. All right. What's your question, Kamal? Obviously, don't remember these off the top of my head. I'm looking at it right now. There's okay, so line 5, why are there 2? Hold on, I can't see your whole chat here. Let me just move my window. For line 5, why are there 2 negations on P? All right, so I'm at line 5, and I did simplification. Well, I simplified this conjunct. That's why. I mean, look at this conjunct here. I used line 5, and I simplified the right-hand conjunct, and the right-hand conjunct is not P. And what not P contradicts is not P. It contradicts line 2. Do you see that? There's absolutely no problem. You don't need to sort of trim off the double mustache. There's no problem there. Do you see that? Come on. Type me clear if that's clear. There's zero problem. Yeah. You don't need to do the end. Look, if you wanted to, you could, right? So here, let's imagine another scenario where you say insert row below 8. And if you wanted to, you could totally do this, right? So you'd say line 7, you could do this, but you don't have to do this. You could do this if it's a little clearer for you. And when it's all said and done, let me be absolutely clear. When it's all said and done, do what you feel you're going to be most clear about. And so if this makes it more clear for you, you have my blessing. God bless you. Go ahead, use DN. But it was perfectly fine before I did that. It was perfectly fine. So let's just imagine this. Look, I'm just going to use my Eye of Agamotto here, right? I'm going to do this over here. And I'm going to put another version here, right? I'm going to give myself another version, and I'll just keep it in the mix just to show everyone that you can totally do that. Wow, why is that in green? That's not good. Yeah, you can totally do that. That'll be fine. So just to soothe your nerves and to let you know that if you did that, it's perfectly fine. Insert row below, right? There you go. That would be perfectly fine. I'll put a version here, just an extra version, just to show everyone, concretely speaking, 7 double negation. That's also perfectly fine. Yep. Everybody else, my friends, is that clear? This was perfectly fine, but if it makes it clearer for you, go ahead and use DN. But you still remember it has to be like a negation, a contradiction, right? So that's clear, type and clear. You got a question? Ask a question. Good question. Thank you. And again, don't worry about this stuff. Likewise for repetition, right? If you want to bring stuff closer because you want the lines to be next to one another, like let's say you wanted to bring this not P right next to the P, because go ahead. It's fine. Like I'm concerned with perfect plumbing, not with how many pipes you use. Samuel says, could you use DN first to produce the conjunction, not G and P, and then simplify and just use P? So can you use the N in here? Is that what you're asking? Could you trim this double mustache in here? Yeah, you cannot. So that's the answer. You cannot. The inference rule applies to the entire compound proposition, not a part therein. So this is something that's that's a great question, and it's something for which you already have the answer in my files, right? You cannot use it on part of. So even though this bothers you, live with it. You can trim it eventually. You don't like double negations. I don't either. They bother me less in logic than they do in an essay, right? But yeah. When you get around to when you've exposed it and it's standing alone like this, then you go ahead, take out your scissors and trim that double mustache. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, good. I'm actually going to save that file because we put some nice corrections of typos. We've got questions. They're kind of, I think, small, superficial questions. And that can mean two things. It either means that the only people who are asking questions are the folks who've really mastered this, or it means that folks haven't done the work and they're confused and don't really have any questions to ask. I'm not sure. We got to make good use of our time. I'm looking at the clock. We got 22 minutes left. You want to do something useful with it? I'm there for you. I'm literally taking requests. After the quiz, we'll grade the quiz together. That's what we're going to do. That's going to be a work for us. But right now, we actually have a lot of homework. Question 16. Yeah, let's do it. Question 16, Gersha Ranjit asks. Here you go. Gersha Ranjit, did you do it differently than the way it was done on my solutions? And if that's the case, if you're unsure, then what we can do is we can follow what you did line by line and just use our perfect plumbers to proof all that together. Let me grab myself a question grid over here and insert that. I haven't seen what you've written. Let me just take a second. Question 16. Hold on. That's, by the way, just the grid from the question. I tried using a theorem, but I was stuck. Yeah, cool. How about you let us know, Gersha Ranjit and everybody else, does that sound like a plan? So Gersha Ranjit, you're going to tell us line by line what you did, and we're going to see at what point you got stuck and whether you were stuck because of a mistake or just a lack of imagination or something like that, and if so, how to get you unstuck. Does that sound like a plan, everyone? We do that, and then maybe that'll be time for the quiz. So if you're good to go, tell me good to go. Does that sound like a good plan to you? All right, let's do that. That sounds like a good way to spend our time. All right, so I'm going to move my premises below. I'm looking at this here. I'm just going to move this out here. I'm looking at this animal, right? And I'm going to do the table setting for you, Gersharanjit, and you're going to tell me, actually, there's 3 ways of killing a disjunction, right? You do the detour of trying to kill something that's going to resemble it with a T45. You can do a straight up ID, or you can try to get one of the disjuncts and then just graph the other one by addition. Which of those methods did you use, Gersharanjit? So how did you set up the kill? What was your table setting for line 2? What'd you do? We said we'd follow Gersharanjit's method, so I'll let Gersharanjit do it. Negation. So you went for ID. Cool. Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. And now you probably did DM after double negate De Morgan's. I'm assuming that's a standard. I see a lot of students do that. That's kind of like a, folks. Kids love De Morgan's rules. I don't know why. They love it. Yeah. I just want to warn you. De Morgan's rules are often a sign of poor mastery of the inference rules. I'm not saying that's the case right now, Gersharanjit. There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's legit. It's a thing. DM is a thing, De Morgan's. But it's often, in my experience as a teacher, a sign of lack of preparation. And folks just panic, right? And they just use it because they can't really see where the other inference rules apply. Gersharanjit, I've just set up the tables for lines 1 and 2. I would hope, please, everyone, and this includes you, hold on doing your DM until you've invited your guests. Please just set the table up, invite your guests, and then you can do your DM at line 5. Are you happy with this setup, Gersharanjit, and everybody else? Type in yes if you are. If you spot a mistake, let me know. Right. So Gersharanjit, I'm assuming that at 2, you did a DM. Am I right? You took line 2. Maybe yours, you did it immediately after. But I don't want you to do that. That's a bad reflex. Okay, cool. All right, so let's do that. So then we're going to say negation. So remember, you distribute the tilde and you flip the chevron. Distribute the tilde. So here's my little tilde. That's my not sign. Distribute means you're going to negate. You're going to put a little copy right before this one. And you also put a little copy right before here, right? And so distribute and flip. So conjunction, this used to be a disjunction. So I flip the chevron and I distribute that little negation. Here it goes. That little mustache is going over here. And notice here I've got some parentheses to trim. So trim those parentheses. Those square brackets are no longer relevant. This was negating the entire thing. This animal here was a negation. What was it negating? This entire thing in these square brackets. Remember our convention? Round, square, squiggly, right? And now we've distributed this and we flipped our chevron. Perfect plumbers, is line 5 perfect? Line 5? Proof me. And if that's different from anything I did here, it looks different, so I'll put it in the mix once we're done. Yeah, there's no DM, so cool. We'll do that. All right, so Gersharanjit, you let me know what you did next after that. So what'd you do at line 6? Tell me the instructions, and then I'll do the inference itself. Tell me what we write in the annotation first, which lines by which rule, and then we'll sort it out together. We know how to apply these things. Simplification of line 5. That's a good reflex. Nice. That's what I would want you to do. So you did 5 simplification, and you did 5 simplification. I think you're going to do a lot of De Morgan's. Am I right? I think you did. You went on a De Morgan's binge. Am I right? You're going to be doing lots of De Morgan's on this one. Let's pause. Perfect plumbers. Is this perfect? And since everyone's looking, I want to make sure. Breakfast kicking in. My timing, my curve is not as much as, it's not the same as yours because I got to teach this stuff. What did you do next? What do I write at line 8's annotation? 7 by the M, yeah, that's, again, these are not good reflexes. If you see these reflexes here, let me just go over here. So for everybody else, including you, Gersharanjit, I'd rather you do these reflexes. This is a sign of someone who understands what they're doing a little more. What we're doing right now feels a little panicky. Maybe it'll lead us nowhere. right? One of the problems is precisely that. It feels, to my experienced eyes as an educator, it feels a little panicky. And notice we got to do not R over here. Perfect plumbers, did I do my DM correctly? I distribute my tilde and I flip the chevron. Cool. I think we got some more De Morgans. I'm almost certain Gershon is going to give us some more De Morgans. What do I annotate here at line 9? What'd you do? Remember, you can't apply double negation to line 8. It's like you can't trim those. So going back to Samuel's point earlier. So if that's what you did, let's not make that mistake here, because that would get you 0. And wouldn't that suck? Can everyone see that? Okay, let me just make sure everyone can see that. I'm going to say that again because this is a great opportunity for a teachable. Yeah. If you did this and you said 8 double negation, what would you get on your derivation? What grade would you get? Yeah, 0. And I'm glad everyone's learning that. If everyone's going, oh, that's good, because no one's losing points in the quiz. I want to check with everyone. Is everyone clear? I'm going to put a big, let me put a horrible color, like nauseating purple or something. This is not good. Line 9 sucks. It would get you 0. Type in clear, everyone, if that's clear, and I want to hear from everyone. Because it would suck so bad if I see this happening and I have to give you 0, but you've been warned. I'm on record, literally. You did DN on line 5 in the version, did I? Let's see. Line 5. Yeah, DM. That's right. I did a DM. Yeah, not DN. I'm talking about DM. That's all. DN. All right, so let's not get confused, right? DN. We can't do this way. That's all wrong. Line 9 is all wrong. All right. Let's not get confused, Edric. You got me off my charts here. All right, so what the hell did you do at line 9 then? What should we do then? I mean, clear it close enough to your version, Gersharanjit. Again, I'm looking at the clock. I'm hoping we're going to wrap this up in time for the quiz. Let's kill this beast. Is this where you got stuck? So, notwithstanding the trimming of the double mustaches, is this where you got stuck? Yeah, of course you're stuck, because you know what? You haven't actually done anything. Short of the simplifications, all you've been doing is basically restating the same thing differently. Right? It's not a productive method. It's not productive, right? You'd have to, if you've done this so far, right? Is that what you did at line 7 in the answer sheet? It could be. I don't know. Maybe. Let's have a look. Line 7 in this one or this one? Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Well, screw that. I got to clean that up. So 2 core. I got to put core. I'm going to give. You're absolutely right. Thank you. Lines over here. Yeah. I was impatient. Let me just put all that in some big, horrible color. Thank you. Yeah, I'll clean that up. And you can see how that's not the end of the world. I'll clean all that up. Yeah. Thank you, Anna. All right, so let's go back to this one. Let's go back. All right, so here we are. What can we do? Perfect plumbers, converge on this now. Can't do DN on 7. Remember, we want to get Gersharanjit unstuck. Maybe 6 what? Another DN can get you to more do Morgans again on 6. Show something. Yeah, let's try to show something. How about we stay with this? I don't think this is elegant, but how about we stay with it and we're just going to try to show something to get unstuck. So we're not going to change lines 2 to 8, even if they're not elegant. And let's try to at least build up our show skills. You want to do that, folks? Tell me good to go if you're good to go. We're going to keep this. Not a nice start. It's not elegant. It's not nice. Like, all right. Let's just let's clean that up. All right, cool. Show us the money. Or show what? Show what? What the hell should we show? Do we have advice for this? Is there some tips that I gave you for what to show in a situation like this? I gave you tips. Use those tips first. Show P. Why show P? I think that's a good suggestion. Why, Kamal? Yeah. Show the antecedent. If a conditional occurs, I'm going to say it, I think, almost word by line. If a conditional occurs on a previous line and neither MP nor MT is applicable, try to show the antecedent of that conditional. And then so someone says show P. Does that make sense, everyone? Why we're doing this? Let's try to do that. If that's clear, type in clear. Why not? We'll see where it goes. And not only will I clean up the little typo on the other one, the little mistake, which is not a little mistake, it's not a typo, but it's significant. But I will also, if we get out of this mess, keep this version here, although I'll call it like a version that is ugly. All right, that's what I'm going to call this one. Right? Because it's not. This is not the way to go. That's not how we set up a kill. That's not how Papa Bear taught you to do this stuff. Although I don't blame you. After a while, if the inference rules aren't apparent, I don't blame Gershon to anybody else for doing this. This is an as what 10 assertion, assumption, assertion or assumption, assumption ID. Yep, assumption ID. Get that right. That's why I'm doing this. All right, insert row below. What can we do now? There's lots that we can do. Our lifelines are this. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. There's lots that we can do now. Lots that we can do. Lots. Can we do 4 and 6 by MP? Absolutely not. Can we do 4 and 10 by MT? That we can. 4 and 10 by MT. 4 and 10 by MT is going to give me not R. Perfect plumbers. This is the suggestion of Gersharanchit. You can't do 4 and 6 Kamal by MT. It's not at all a thing. Not even close. Why would you DN line 10? You can't make a triple negation. And you might, and that might allow you to do an MTP on this. So yeah. Yeah, let's do what Edric just suggested. All right, so I'm going to do what Edric suggested. Hold on. And before you do your MTP, you got to do a triple negation. All right, so let's do this. There's no problem with triple negation in logic, right? Not P in virtue of 10 by DN. Perfect plumbers, confirm line 12. I want to hear from my plumbers. It certainly won't be elegant, that's for sure. That's why we call this the ugly one. But ugly works. Ugly is good. It's perfect plumbing nevertheless. Now, if I say that it's not going to be, and notice I'm going to put parentheses so everyone can see this. I'm saying it's not going to be not P, and I've got not P over here as a disjunct, then by a process of elimination, I'm going to be left with not R. So I'm going to say 8, 12, MTP, and now I'm going to remove these silly parentheses, which I don't need, but I did so that everyone could see. Perfect plumbers, confirm line 12. Line 13. Type in perfect if that's perfect. Hey, look at that. Look at that. What does that look like to you? A contradiction. A contradiction. A contradiction. Crossbox and annotate. Crossbox and annotate, crossbox and annotate, always in that order. This all is going to be boxed. I'm going to put these in gray over here. That means we can't use these anymore. Is everyone clear on that convention? Just a quick little convention that I use because I don't want to mess around with the boxes. I'm going to put all that in gray. Yeah, just because a reminder, these are all going to be boxed. This is what paid for line 9. Line 9 is live, people. It is going live. We can have some fun now. All right, so what the hell's going on? At line 14, what should we be doing? We just got ourselves a nice juicy P. What can we do? At line 14. 3 and 9, that's what I think are no-brainer. Good old modus ponens, trusty modus ponens. It's going to give us our R. Perfect plumbers, confirm. Type in perfect if that's perfect. Mistake if I made a mistake. Mistakes happen. Remember, all you need for A plus is to do mistakes less than 10% of the time, 90% and over, right? 4 and 14 by MP. So 4 and 14. I should have written the annotation first. So 4 and 14. 4 and 14 by MP gives me P. Perfect plumbers. I've got P already at 9. Is that moving us forward? We can do it. So ignore suggestion is a thing. It's perfect, but it's useless. Can everyone see that? Not helping. But nothing wrong. Here is not a case of my pressing a button. Absolutely nothing wrong with that ignore. Just a little more plumbing. You're just using a bit more tubes. Yeah, no problem. You've already got what you had. I'm going to leave it in there because, we call this the ugly one. So who cares? Let's make it even uglier. Yep. What else can we do? These are our live lines. Reviewer. Okay, take a break. Look outside the window. And then take stock of your live lines. $14 and 15 by adjunction. 14, let's see what that does. 14 and 15 by adjunction is going to give me P conjunction R. Nice. Nice. Why is that nice, everyone? So perfect plumbers, let's just check line 16. Line 16 is good? Type in perfect if it's perfect, and then we'll see why that's so nice. Hopefully you can smell blood. Type in perfect. All right, and before I point out, can you smell blood? Type in blood if you can smell blood. Why am I so excited? Can you smell blood? Look carefully. I smell blood. You smell blood? We're going to go for the kill. It smells like blood. It smells like good blood. Look at that line 6. Nice. Line 6. I don't need to repeat line 6, by the way. I don't need to repeat. This is all going to be in a box, right? That's going to be in a box, and these are going to be in the same area. They're going to contradict. Perfect. And if they contradict, which line am I paying for? If line 6 and 16 contradict, what am I paying? You're paying for line 1. You're paying for line 1. And how am I paying for it? What's my method of payment? I'm paying for it with ID. Now we cross box and annotate. Cross box and I'm going to remove the scaffold here. I'm going to put that back in black. Back in black. All right. For all you auto fit, well, let's just do this. Outer box first. Another versions could work. Yeah, let's just focus on this one because my brain's gonna pop. We haven't cleaned up all our nonsense. Let's just clear that up. If you stop there, oops, I don't know why there's a line here on this other side. Let me clear that. There we go. If you stop here, you get 5 out of 5. You don't need to do the rest. It's aesthetics. Notice I can clearly tell which box is in, right? So you don't want to do this, everyone. So again, I'm going to do something stupid. Pay close attention. Your coach is doing something stupid. Okay. I'm going to do something really stupid. If we do this, I cannot tell what's inside what. Okay, this is stupid. Earlier, you would have gotten 5. What does this get? It gets 1. You set up the kill properly. So I do, you set up the kill. So you set table setting, inviting the guests, you get 1 out of 5. But that would suck, right? This, however, gets 5. Is everyone clear on why that boxing is correct and the one I just showed you was incorrect? Type in clear if that's clear. Like, it's vital that you all see this. I need to be able to, we're tracking subsumption relations of containment. Then the rest, and while you're doing your quiz, I'll put the gray. Graying is fine if you want to do it. I have no objection. You can also select all and you can go auto fit contents and, things like that. But then you also want to proof yourself because as you've seen, look, little mistakes in the homework, right? You need to proof yourself in the way that I did, for instance, right? Proof yourself, please. My friends, is everyone ready for the quiz? Type in if you're ready. All right, go do the quiz. 45 minutes. The quiz is on. Go. Go, 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 go. The quiz is on. Quiz time. All right, everyone, welcome back. If you're back, type in back. Christopher, Ignore, Indavir, LJ, Shivam, looking good.
I am back. Hello, boss.
Good, Edric. Hannah, everyone. All right, cool. All right, so let's do some more practice. I'm just going to check in with people what their preferences are. Would you like to grade the quiz together now, or would you rather look at homework? So write quiz or homework.
I would like to do homework.
Just use the chat, my friend. Thank you so much for letting me know. Type in your preference, and I'm just going to go with what most folks want to do. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's not a good reason, but yeah, that's fair enough. All right, let's do the quiz together, my friends. I'm going to share screen that with you. The actual and one of the things that we've learned about human psychology is that you sort of approach the things that scare you gradually, and that's how they scare you less, right? So that's just the way these things go. So have some courage. Can everyone see the? Although that's easier said than done, obviously. Quiz 3. Can everyone see that? Type in yes if you can. Good. Okay. Am I right in thinking that question 2 was a little harder than question 1? Type in correct if I am correct. You struggled a bit more on question 2 than question 1. I mean, I can anticipate a little bit. All right. So one of the things I want to do while we're at, obviously we get dumber and dumber with each passing minute. Is I also want to make sure that we do what's most useful. I'm going to go over question 2 together. And so what I'm going to do is, let me just give myself a separate copy here. We know that this is a disjunction, and there's a couple ways in which we want to show a disjunction. So I'll just give myself an extra copy right here in case we want to show it a different way if we have time or whatever. Let me just take a poll once again. Folks, this is a disjunction. Did you do it via a T45 or via ID? Type in T45 if that's what you used for the kill, or if you used ID. Okay, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. The T45 strategy is the one that I recommend the most. Remember that advice? There's a file there where I give you conclusion-specific strategies. So there's strategies on how to prove a conclusion. First order of business is to ask yourself, what sort of compound proposition am I, or atomic proposition in this case, what sort of proposition am I looking at? And if the answer is it's a disjunction, the smart move is to do detour via T45. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm just going to grab my premises. I'm going to move them down. How many premises that I have? 3. There you go. And I'm going to, instead of trying to show line 1, I'm going to try to show something different. I'm going to try to show a conditional, right? That's implicit in this, because if it's not M, then it's going to be N, and if it's not N, then it's going to be M, and I know that. And then after that, I know that I'll just be a couple transformations away to actually showing 1. Let me just check, folks. When you negated something, because we want to say if it's not something, then it'll be the remainder. So that's the rationale behind what we're trying to look, right? If it's not this, then it'll be the remainder by a process of elimination. So if it's not M, then it's going to be N. Or if it's not N, then it's going to be M. What did you plug in here as the not? M or N? Type that in. Cool. Okay, cool. We'll do that then. So I want to pick, you can see there's different ways of doing this, right? And so I just want to pick a version that we can be clear that it's going to benefit as many people as possible. Let me just kind of clear all that and put that back. I don't know why sometimes my conditional is in a different format. All right, and that is going to be an assertion. And notice I'm not going to bring in my premises just yet because I have to set the table. And here I'm looking at something. What method should I try to use to show 2? What's the method I should try to employ? CD, absolutely. CD. That means I'm going to assume my antecedent and try to show the consequent. Let's take it at its word. Let's assume that these initial conditions have been met. Will the results in fact obtain? So that's an assumption CD. And then I'm going to have to try to show this consequent N. I'm going to put that over here, give myself some more lines here, insert row below. Turns out I got to move my guests a little bit. I got a little more table setting to do before they come in. And of course, that is an assertion. I open my parentheses, but I don't put anything in them because I haven't paid for it yet. And I'm going to try to show this by ID. That means I'm allowed to make an assumption, namely assumption ID. And that is going to be, I don't want to forget my numbering here. Then I bring in my guests. I had 3 premises, and that is it. Lines 1 to 8. Does that look exactly like what you have on your thing? If it is, yeah, type in yes. If it's different, then write different. I'm hoping everyone's on the same page, because if you did everything I taught you so far, it should be the same. It should be the same. Tell me a little bit, Anna, how is that different? So how is yours different? Just want to see if that's a big deal or not a big deal, or just gauge. Supposing you did like if not M, then N, right? Obviously. I did things like simplify the first premise first. Oh, no. Hold on. Don't do that reflex yet, okay, Hannah? So one of the things is, the reason why I say that again is it won't kill you. Like if I go line by line, Hannah, and you did that right, that's not the problem. It's going to be perfectly fine. I know you would like to simplify this premise that's bothering you. Am I right? That's the one you just went ahead and did it? Yeah, hold that reflex. Hold that thought, right? Don't even look at the premises. Here's advice. Don't even look at your premises. Don't look at your guests. Don't know who is at the table until you set the table. Then you invite them in. The reason for that is you want to make sure, remember, you have a brain, and the brain houses a software called your human psychology. And it's just you're going to go down a path already. And I want to make sure that you set up the kill properly. So Hannah, does that advice make sense? If you did it, you did it. I'll go line by line, and if there's perfect plumbing, there's no problem, right? But that's not a good reflex. Okay, cool. So, and everybody else, are we clear on that? So just set the table, invite the guests, makes migrating a bit easier, plus it's good habits. Type in clear if that's clear. And the only time when your premises get stuck and you have to worry about that, right, is if you're going to try to derive a biconditional. Right? If you're going to do a biconditional, you know you'll have to do this 2 times over. But look at my table setting here right now. There's no risk of anything being boxed in. If I end up paying for line 4, I therefore pay for line 2, and then I'm just 1 step away from showing line 1. Do you see that, Anna? There's no risk whatsoever of something being boxed in. Yeah, the only circumstance where you put in the guests before you set the table is when you try to show an equivalence. I'll say this again. The only circumstance where you invite the guests before setting the table is when you do a biconditional, because you'll have to do this twice over. You'll have to show one conditional going one way and the other conditional, and then you'll collapse them, H2O, let there be light, and so on. That is it, right? And so, yeah. All right, let's keep going. So this looks pretty good to me. Hopefully that's what you've done, right? All right. What are we doing now? I'm going to take now it's the time. I'm assuming this is the first reflex, is now you can simplify. If you're itching to do it, I think makes a lot of sense. All right, now's the time to do that. Now it's the perfect time to do that. Let me just zoom in a bit because my eyes are hurting. All right, and then we'll simplify both conjuncts immediately. Even if you don't know where it's going to go, just do that right away. That's decompress that stuff right away. Remember, trim your parentheses. Don't have your parentheses here. The reason for that is, stupidly enough, it's harder to see that you can do a modus ponens or modus tollens on something when it has brackets. I know it's stupid, but trust me, that's the way it is. So the brackets here are needless. These parentheses, please remove them. It lets you see better what you can do. So not only are they're needless, but they can hinder your ability to see the inference rules you're going to be able to make. And so that is line 7 by simplification. Perfect plumbers. Is everything perfect so far? Type in perfect if it is. All right. In the same vein that we want to decompress that conjunction into its conjuncts, we want to decompress this into its conditionals. Do we agree? Type in agree if you agree. Like that's not helpful for us as it currently stands. That could yield 2 lines. Much more helpful for us if it's decompressed. So let's just go ahead and insert 2 lines below here, and let's do one at a time. Let's take this P if and only if N, and let's turn that into if P then N, right? And then let's do the reverse, right? If N then P. And right now I'm kind of not doing the right thing. I should annotate first, but just so long as you get that right. And that's BC 8 by BC. And once again, let me just kind of select all and give myself time to do Roman, because for some reason my little arrow switched font there. There you go. Perfect plumbers. Is this fine? Oopsie. Is this fine? Lines 11 and 12. Type in perfect if that's perfect. Perfecto. Good, good. So far, is this looking, minus the little sort of table setting, you may have done your BC before you did your simplification, but does this look like what you've done? Type in yes if it does, different if it's different. Because I'm hoping everything is kind of like falling into place. We've got the same habits. It's nice to be on the same page, Like if we've all learned the same habits, they're good habits. They're not just for the sake of being on the same page. They're habits that pay off in the long run. And all I'm concerned with is the long run. I'm not concerned with short-term victory. I'm concerned with the long run. All right. We got lots we can do now. Our live lines are 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Suggestions? Tell me what to do here in the annotation, and then we'll go ahead and do it. Three and 9 by MT, 5 and 11 by MT. So some MT. Let's do 3 and 9 by MT. 3 and 9 by MT. We'll start. There's this adjunction as well. That's let's 3 and 5 by adjunction. I'm curious to see where that would go, Raman. Raman, let's do that and let's see what you had in mind. So that is not an obvious reflex. Adjunction, conjunction over here, and 5. And Raman, you're going to tell me if I did this correctly, and that would be 3 and 5 by adj. And you're going to tell me if I did that correctly, and I'm curious to see what you want to do. What do you want to do with that? Raman, did I do that right? I'm just curious. That's a strange suggestion. Raman and everybody else, proof me. Just want to know Raman, where you're going to go with that. Because we could totally do this. This is perfect plumbing. Is this did it end up going nowhere? Right now, it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere, but maybe it does. Raman, share your rationale for this. Like, what were you thinking in doing this? Did you have a plan, or are you just kind of generating? Then you can do De Morgan's, and you can do De Morgan's. I could. Raman, you know where you're going with this? Did this lead somewhere, Raman? Type yes if it did. No if it was just kind of something you're inventing on the go right now. So yes or no? Do you know where this is going? Type in yes if you know. No if you're exploring. It's perfectly fine to explore too. Just let me know if you know where this is going. It's not obvious to me. Maybe I'm veg. It's not obvious to me that this is going to go anywhere. I'll leave the line in, but before we keep pushing with some further lines and doing a theorem, yeah. Raman, did you have a plan, or are you just kind of making stuff up? Just let me know. It's fine to make stuff up too. There's nothing wrong with this line. So far, no leaks. Everything's good, perfect plumbing. You want to continue down that path? Let me know, Raman. What was your plan? I'm sure everyone else is curious to see where this was. Because there's a problem. Maybe, I'm missing something, which is cool. It happens, right? It's no big deal, though, right? We can use DM, yes, but why? You can use De Morgan's on this, but why? I understand that we could factor out that tilde. Let's do it. Let's just, look, I tell you what, everyone, we're just going to practice our DMs together, okay? So we're generating lines. Who the hell cares? It's just good practice. We're going to factor out that tilde, flip the chevron into a disjunction, and over here. Perfect plumbers, proof this for me. Did I do my De Morgan's rule properly? 13 by DM. Raman, you're correct. Okay, good. So remember, there's a goal to these things. You can generate lines if you want, but there's the clicker's clicking. Does anyone else? And again, I'm not getting much from Raman as to where this is going to go. Can anyone see somewhere where this could go? This is a kind of an unusual. Because remember, we can't contradict this. There's no contradiction with this line. Raman, you can't contradict line 1. Do you see that? Line 1's not live. Everybody else, are we clear on that? Type in clear if that's clear. There's no way that's going to contradict line 1. Line 1's not even a line yet. I feel like it's going nowhere, but maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm missing it. And it happens. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something. If someone spots something, you let me know. Yeah. Raman, was that helpful? We went down that alley, and I think it's kind of a dead end. Type in helpful if that was helpful. Like we did it. It's cool. Like you knew your rules, so we did that. Cool. All right. Cool. That was something. We're gonna go back to what we were suggesting earlier. I'm just gonna keep moving forward, like a bus. You rarely see a bus go in reverse. It always moves forward. We were talking about an MT between which lines? Remind me again. So let's go back. We've generated more lines. Fair enough. 3 and 9 by MT. 3 and 9. All right. So let's go. 3 is not M. So and 9 is over here. So I'm going to end up with not R. Perfect plumbers, verify line 15. Thank you. Kelly's got another MT that we could be doing. How about we do that right away without knowing where it's going to go? Kelly says 5 and 11 by MT. I'm almost certain we can do that. So not N. Not N is going to mean that we're going to end up with not P. Perfect plumbers, proof this. Oh, Gersharenz has got a weird show line. All right. Just proof this first. Just make sure we got this. Gersharenz got an interesting show line. All right. Gersharenz says, show not this. Gersharenz, am I right that you'd love to do an MTP on line 6? You could also do 16 add. What would 16 add do? Let's do that, Hannah. 16 add. All right. Notice there's lots of ways these things can be done. Right? You did a show line. All right, let me pause. Who at this stage, who ended up doing a kind of creative show line? If you did a creative show line, right, yes. And if you managed to just churn out with a bunch of rules and theorems, type in no. So if you did a creative show line, type in yes. And if you just churned it out with a bunch of inference rules and theorems, tell me no. Looks like it's pretty split down the middle. All right. Hannah, you were saying add. Let's do an add just because we can. What was your, Anna, I can't go back here multitasking too much. What was your addition? All right, so you say not P or, because you can do or anything, not H. And I'm thinking you might want to do a De Morgan's on this after because am I right? You're going to do a De Morgan's and you'd like to negate this disjunct? Yeah. All right, so let's just do that. 6, add. Perfect plumbers. Perfect plumbers. Is this perfect plumbing? Yep. I see where you're going, Hannah. I can see it. That's what you did as well. If you did this, say me too. If that's what you did, say me too. Just curious. And again, it's kind of weird because I'm trying to grade this, but there's lots of different ways it's been done. Remember last class we did this move. Remember? We grafted something, then we De Morganed it out. All right, so let's De Morgan this out and say P conjunction H. We factor out that tilde. That is 17 by De Morgan. And the reason I'm doing that is have a look, everyone. That certainly looks like I can negate that disjunct without even calling a show line. Perfect plumbers, proof line 18 for me. Thank you, my friends. It's so reassuring to work together on this. I know that you know your stuff now. You got this, right? Good. We would say that the logic is valid. Soundness is when the premises are true. That's actually a technical term, Edric, so for what it's worth. All right, so we're going to go and say 618. This is why we did all this, by MTP, and we're going to be left with this. So we're going to say it's at least this or that, and it's not going to be this left-hand disjunct. So by a process of elimination, it's going to be the right-hand disjunct, and ooh, is that going to generate a lot of lines because that's a conjunction. Perfect plumbers, confirm line 19. I took line 6 and 18 and MTP'd that thing. I got myself a nice line here. Very nice. Very nice. I can smell blood. Can you smell blood? I can start. We're starting to 0. Can you smell blood? I'm starting to smell it. Like that's going to work out. You can tell once we unlock all this juice, there's all this juice in there. That's going to have to work out. All right, cool. So we're going to smell. We're going to simplify this thing. All right. So insert row below. Right. So I'm going to say line 19 by smellification. Line 19 by smellification gives me this. I'm going to remove those brackets. That's one of my conjuncts. And again, line 19 by smellification. I'm kidding here, kids. Simplification. That gives me this. Ooh, you know that's going to go someplace now. Suggestions. Oh, perfect plumbers. Let's just, I got that. I think I got that right. Let me just check because, again, I'm going to do this. We've got to do it well. Is that perfect? Confirm. Thank you. All right. Suggestions for line. We got some MTPs that we could be doing here. MTPs. We got 10 and 20 by MTP. That's going to be giving me my R, and I've got my contradiction right away. Let's do that. I'm almost there. 10 and 15. 10 and 20 by MTP. That's going to get me where I need to go real fast. So I've got 10 over here, which is not Q. And look, I'm saying it's either Q or R. Well, if it's not going to be Q, because that's what line 10 says, then it's going to be R. Fair enough. Perfect plumbers, verify line 22. Perfect. And look at that. How beautiful is that? Lines 15 and lines 22 contradict, and I have no problem if you did repetition for that. What line does that contradiction pay for? What's the next bill we're paying with that one? We're paying for line 4, cross box and annotate. Cross box, how are we paying for it? We're paying for it with what method of payment? ID, indirect derivation. And of course, if we pay that, then that pays this bill. What's the method of payment for line 2? CD. Thank you, my friends. All right. Do we thereby pay line 1, or is there something more we need to do? Are we done, or is there more to do? There is more to do. There is more to do. We want to say insert line below. That's going to be line 23. Hold on. I want everything to fit. And then we're going to show the damn thing we wanted to show. All of a sudden now, line 2 is a live line, right? And I take it and I transform it with my T45, and I've got myself exactly what I wanted to show at line 23, right? It's exactly what I wanted to show. That shows line 1. How did I pay that bill? How did I pay for line 1? DD. I paid for it directly. I want to show M or N. Well, guess what? At line 23, I got M or N. Now the boxing is going to be important. You don't want to mess up the boxing. So notice here, I haven't actually tracked my boxing. That means I'm going to have to do this correctly. So I'm going to just go over here, borders and shading. And this is where you have to make sure that everything is in your RAM, your random onboard memory, your short-term memory, right? Clearly, we're going to have a story for why we prove line 1. So the outer box is always a no-brainer. It's a box. That box is everything underneath line 1 all the time. Look at all the solutions. That's what they all have in common, right? I can see here I'm going to need a little more column. So I'm going to go insert column to the right. Well, that's ugly. All right, let me just remove all of that. All right, because I can. Whoa, that's ugly. It's still ugly. That's just wrong. Let me just undo that. All right. I got to select that properly because you can see here I ran out of little columns because this was a long proposition. I'm just going to give myself a column because I'm going to need it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Much, much better. Let's just do auto fit contents. Nice. And I'm probably still going to have to give myself another. You see that little column here? Can anyone see my little red blue thing? Type in yes if you can see that. I just selected a little blue thing. Yeah, that's a column. It's a little sliver. Actually, I'll make it a little wider. Let me just auto fit window. Auto fit window. That way you can see a bit better, right? Yeah, there you go. And I'm also going to go insert to the left here, so I don't have to redo my thing, because I'm going to need to be careful with my boxing. All of this is going to have to be in this box like this, right? Let me just pause before. Everyone see this blue thing? Can everyone see that that's going to be required as a box? Because I'm going to, at line 23, manipulate line 2. Type in clear if that's clear. Line 23 is going to manipulate line 2. Does it have to be in the same box? Type in clear if that's clear. That's going to be my next box. Boxing is important. So, yeah. So let's box this. Here we go. And then notice how then I'm going to have a whole proof, a whole subderivation for this entire thing of line 4, and it goes all the way down to capture that beautiful contradiction, right? So here I have the whole box that showed line 1. How did you show line 1, Mark? Well, I showed line 2, and then I was able to transform line 2 into exactly the thing I wanted at line 1. Beautiful. How did you show line 2, Mark? Here is the story for how I showed line 2. Can you recount that story for me, please? No problem. I assumed the antecedent that was being claimed here, and then I checked whether or not the actual results that were being predicted actually happened. Really? And they did. See, I crossed it and everything was good. Tell me, please, what's the story of how you showed line 4? Well, I assume, let's imagine I'm wrong in line 4. Let's imagine that this is not exactly the case. That should land me in a contradiction. If it's a valid argument, right, it should land me in a contradiction. So I brought in my premises and I did all this. And look, at lines 15 and 22, I got my contradiction. So you see, don't deny this conclusion or else you'll be in deep doo-doo. Never deny the conclusion of a valid argument. This is what happens if you argue with me, by the way. So if you do some philosophy with me and I've got you with a valid argument and you deny the conclusion that I'm recommending, sooner or later I'm going to catch you in a contradiction and you're going to make a fool out of yourself. That's what we do. Yeah. And so there you go. Perfect plumbers verify my boxing. Is my boxing perfect? Type in perfect. If it is, mistake if you see a mistake. Is anyone lost? Type in lost if you're lost, clear if everything was clear. Logic, and this deductive logic is perfection. There's other kinds of logics that are imperfect. Inductive and abductive logics. If you're lost, you can tell me lost. I'm going to come and help you. Throw a buoy at you and try to help you out. All right, this was one version. Yeah, you got, don't forget T45. That's the, did you forget to do, did you set it up this way, but you forgot to do this line? Edric, what do you mean exactly when you say you forgot T45? You forgot that last step, or you attacked it differently? So your last step, or you forgot that method entirely? Okay, cool. So speaking of which, we said a moment ago that there were people who did it with a show line. So look what I'm going to do, as painful as it is. Actually, I'm going to just, I'm just going to go ahead and do another one. Do you want to do another one with an exotic show line if you still have energy for that? I'm thinking it'd probably be more, in my opinion, it's probably going to be more useful for us to try to do an exotic show line and try another version of this than it is to grade question 1. Would you rather do try a show line on this, or would you rather grade question 1? Tell me in the chat. Exotic or number 1? Type in exotic if you want me to do an exotic show line. I don't know how exotic it's going to be, or if you'd rather I grade question 1 with you. Let's do a show line. Let's do the show line. All right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Aya Agamotto. Undo, 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 undo. This is going to be really painful because we worked real hard at this. Undo, 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 do, 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 do. Undoing. I'm taking my time travel machine, just like the internet never forgets. Yeah, you got it recorded, so that's not too much of a big deal. At what point did we want to say we want to use a show line? It was, I believe, at line 12. Hold on. Good. Am I right, folks? That at this point, some of you call the show line? Tell me show if this is correct. If I got this, type in show. Like we've done all the mechanical stuff we could do. Use a show line. Yeah. Is there anything further we can do? Well, maybe let's just redo a little bit. Maybe, whoopsie, not redo. What is this? Okay, you wanted to show this. That's the kind of like, yeah, that's one thing. So try to show the negation of that disjunct. What are some of the show lines you called for? Folks who called for a show line, they're not that exotic. Show the negation of this disjunct. That's perfectly reasonable. Show P or H. You could try to show P or H. That's a thing. If you showed P or H, though, where would you go with that, though? Do you see that? You want to show not P or H. Not P and H, right? You want to show not P and H. Yeah. Other show lines, people. You show what Gersharenja did? All right, cool. Let's do that. Let's do this. And I'm going to try to negate it right away. That's what I want, right? Do we all agree? Hold on. Do we all agree that if you did this, it would be a victory, that it wouldn't amount to anything? Can everyone see why that would be pointless? Type in clear if that's clear. Like if you did this, you'd work really hard, and then what? Then nothing. You can't negate the disjunct. You just have the disjunct, but you can't negate it. You'd be like, there's not much that you could do. I suppose you had this line. Yeah, like, what would you then do? I don't know. Maybe then you could simplify. No, it's true. Maybe you could then simplify it. You might be able, yeah, you might simplify it and then, yeah, okay, that's not hopeless. But are we going to try this instead? What are we trying to show? Is anyone had some crazier show line that we can explore? Something exotic, like I said, exotic. Something really surprised me. Another way of doing it that wouldn't occur to me. Otherwise, we'll do that one. Are we? I mean, have a look. Is there something crazy that we want to try together? We still have like 15 minutes. Maybe be elegant. You know, if the thing is, if you call a show line really cleverly, right? Before showing this, I unlocked the not P and the not Q. Yeah, you did some MTs on there. Yeah, you did some MTs. Smart. We can do a show on 11. What does that mean, though? We can do a show on 11. You already have line 11. You want to try to show P? Well, what does that mean? We can do a show on 11. Try to show P. And if you did P, right, we can do that. You guys, you folks, you want to try that? Because we already tried the MTP on line 6. Let's do what Edric is recommending. Are you good to go? Let's try to show P. Want to try to show P? Let's do that. Tell me good to go if you're good to go. Let's try to show P. Good to go, folks? We're going to try to show P. Because if we did, then that's an antecedent of a conditional, right? All right, let's try to show that. Let's see where that goes. All right, so if I try to show P, then I'm entitled to assume not P in virtue of, I'm going to go a little faster here, assumption ID, and then I'm going to go insert below at line 15, and that was clearly some inference rules, lines 15, clearly some inference rules I can use. Not P is going to allow me to do what? It's going to allow me to get my not N, right, in virtue of saying 12 and 14 by MT. Perfect plumber, so far so good. Insert rule. It might not be that crazy. This could go somewhere. Let's have a look. I take my not N and I go over here. I negate this consequent. And it's going to give me not P. Well, that brings me back to where I started. That's not super helpful. Can we agree that particular move that I just did wasn't helpful? Type in clear if that's clear. So I take 11, 15 by MT. I could have just done 14 repetition. That's not helpful. And in this case, let's just backtrack. Because who the hell cares that wasn't helpful? Okay, so I got not N. Then what? Then what? It's not obvious. Yeah, indeed. We're going to go back to doing the same moves we did earlier, right? Do you see that, everyone? Like this, if we try to show P, we're just going to end up, whatever happens underneath here, we're going to end up doing the same moves we did earlier. Like we'll do that addition, then we'll run that De Morgan and factor out those tildes, and we're just going to end up doing the same damn thing. Okay, unless I'm missing something. And by the way, all this does is get me not N, which I had at line 5, by the way. I could do like 5 by repetition. It's like, who the hell cares? Yeah. So was this productive or unproductive? Edric, did that work out for you, or is this like a suggestion off the top of your head? Yeah. Okay, just a suggestion. All right, cool. Screw that. All right, Gersharendra, let's go for your negation of this. But we'll do. How about we grade the first one? Because I think this is going to work out. Everyone can see that that'll work out. Let's grade number 1. Is everyone still good to go? You want to do this, number 1? Tell me good to go if you got your brain still. Let's grade this other one. All right, cool. We know how to do number 2. For sure it's going to work out. I'm just mindful of the time. I'm going to do this one for you, and I'm going to narrate, and you're going to scream out if I make a mistake. All right? So I'm going to say not, open up parentheses. I'm going to just use my standard reflexes here. Hold on, paste. Does everyone see that if I didn't put brackets, this would be a big deal, and I'd be going down a nowhere fast? Type in clear if that's clear. Lost if you don't see why. If I just did this without parentheses, like I'm about to go nowhere fast. Oh, by the way, quick update while I'm seeing this. I improved the 4th homework solution. So while you kids were working, I was working too. So I cleaned up. Remember that double negation stuff? Hannah and everybody else, that's all cleaned up. So that's better now. All that's better. So thank you for that. All right, premises. Let's put our guests in. Table setting is great. Guests are in. Resist the urge to do anything before that. This gets how much? If you did this, you have at least guaranteed 1%. All right, good. All right, reflex should be to simplify this. Let's do that. Let's simplify both conjuncts. That should be a reflex. Again, I'm going to do this fast. 4 by simplification, 4 by simplification. And another reflex should be to decompress this into its constituent conditionals. We're going to say 3 by BC, and we're going to do that again the opposite direction, and that's going to generate very easily 4 lines, and 4 nice juicy ones of that. 4 juicy lines. They look nice and juicy. All right, that's again 3 by BC. Perfect plumbers, verify these 4 lines for me. Type in perfect if that's perfect. I'm going to keep moving forward. I've got a P over here. The no-brainer is to do a modus ponens. So I'm going to remove these brackets over here. Yeah, pay attention, folks. Good. All right, so 5 and 7 modus ponens is always kind of like the simplest one to do. And then I'm going to go over here at 10, and I'm going to say, I'm going to simplify both of these things because I'm going to do it even though I don't know if that's going to pay off. Just go ahead and do it right away. That's not a bad idea. Insert row below. Right. S over here. Perfect plumbers. That's 9 by simplification. Confirm that so far everything's perfect. All right. I'm going to tell you right away where I would go. And maybe that's not where you would have gone, but that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to say not S for 11 by double negation. And then I'm going to insert row below. And I'm going to say line 13. I'm going to do an MT on line 6 and line 12 by MT. And that's going to give me not T. And then I'm going to insert row below, and now I can shave off that mustache. I'm going to go to line 14. I'm going to put T. Perfect plumbers, pause and tell me if everything is good. That's double negation. Everything's perfect. Type in perfect. You see me doing a mistake. Tell me I did a mistake. All right. What else do I want now? Well, look, I'm seeing here that I got a not Q and I've got a T. I'm one adjunction away from getting what I want. So I'm going to insert below, and I see here 15, and I'm going to say, take my not Q over here. I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to say and. And what? Well, and another line that I got, which is T. Look, I'm going to take lines. So that's line 10 and line 14, and I'm going to say adj, and that gives me not Q and T, and not Q and T contradicts with this, and that contradicts with that, and that means cross box and annotate. Cross box and annotate. Isn't that beautiful? Right? And I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. There you go. Let's just do that. And I did it. How long did that take me? Like a good, time me. How long was that? And it's not like I memorized this right away. Huh? It's like you just like, yeah, certainly less than 5 minutes. Yeah. My friends, was this helpful or are you lost? Type in helpful if it was helpful, lost if you are lost. I'm at a loss. I want more logic. I'm at a loss for words. I'm getting a little bit emotional because I'm looking at the clock. And normally I say we finish at like 12:15. It's like 12:11. I will grade these things sometime in the next week. You've got, as far as I'm concerned, everything you need to sort of grade yourself, essentially. Now you know if you did it right or not right or whatever, right? And we're nearing the end of the class. And when I mean the class, not just this class, but like the whole class. We did our practice sandwich. We did some practice, then we did the quiz, then we did some more practice. We know what we got to do. The next step is what? The next step is the big Dukaroo, the big final. Let me just kind of go over here, right? Next class, there is no class. It is Easter Monday, right? What do? You practice, right? Why? Because your muscles are going to grow cold. Practice a little bit every day. Practice a little bit every day. The test itself is going to start at 8:30. There's going to be 5 questions worth 5% each, and they're going to be graded in the exact same manner that we graded today's quiz. That is it. Nothing surprising except the actual arguments. I want to warn you, I have a bit of a tradition in logic. I like to keep the last question what I call a widowmaker. All right. The questions will vary in level of difficulty, but I am expecting that you've been practicing for 2 weeks. So just so you know, that ramps up. Right? So here I'm expecting that it's April 3rd. You're getting smarter every week at the rate of 3 per day, Kelly, right? So it's like I'm going to up the bar a little bit. And I guarantee you that I always like the last one to be the one where I separate who really aced this class. And I like to call it the Widowmaker. I always like to throw in a little harder one near the last one. All right. So I do that for all my logic exams. In all my logic courses, because if you do walk away from this course with an A+, that's a lot of bragging rights, yeah. And it's a lot of bragging rights. By the way, we philosophers, if we see that you took logic and you did well, that carries a lot of weight, because this is no joke. This course is no joke, as you can tell. That said, I gave you a deal. And the deal was this, right? That repeated practice is essential to success in logic. I warned you from the very first time we met. If you just look at a screen passively as if this was YouTube, then you will fail, even if you indulge in that laid-back approach only once. Indeed, falling behind by 1 week can derail your whole term. So, and I put this in bold and italics now, you know what matters. Do all the homework that you're supposed to do the week that you're supposed to do it, and never miss a class. To form a realistic picture, averages in philosophy courses tend to hover around 68%, plus or minus 2. Logic is even harder. I grade your answers, not your life, so don't give me sad stories or expect second chances. This course has been carefully engineered to maximize student success, and I hope you can see that. I've got a toolbox of little tricks and habits that I want to pass on because I want to see you ace it. But if you're lost, confused, or unsure about something, ask me for help beforehand, since after that, nothing can be done. And you've seen that if you do ask me for help beforehand, I will do everything I can to help you. This is a unique opportunity to exercise your brain and grow, so make the most of it. And here is the bargain. The bargain is right here. If you put in the work, which I cannot do for you, I promise that I will do my utmost to help you perform at your best. My friends, simple yes or no. Did I hold my end of the bargain? It's you. It's me. It's us. I think so as well. Good. On that note, nothing would make me happier. If you've seen the last video, the last video on our page, right? Not, I don't mean the philosophy one, and Manav for sure. After, right? you've seen the look on Mr. Miyagi's face, so the coach, right? It's this kind of quiet happiness. Nothing would make me happier than to see you completely do well in the final exam, provided you don't cheat, right? You do it the honest way. Nothing would make me happier. So please do that. That's the nicest gift you can give to me. In addition to also filling out a good teaching evaluation and telling my boss this was a good class, that you felt like you got your tuition's money's worth, that'd be great, because that's how I'm able to do my craft and get better and better and better. And that's good. And if I'm here now, it's because I've been training at this for decades, right? And thanks to good students like yourself. On that note, my friends, we are done. It is on the spot, 12:15. Look at that. Just like landing the boat right at the right spot, 12:15, and we are done. Class dismissed, course is over. Let's say goodbye. Office time begins. Let's say goodbye, and then I will not talk to you again, other than if I see you in a class again. That is it.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Edric, same.
Yeah. Whoo! Great. Finally, we're done. Well, not done yet.
Not done yet. Let's not exhale just right away. We'll have that cold beer after the exam, all right? So, good, everyone. It's been a complete joy teaching you folks, huh? So, that's been an absolute joy. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I like the method using the T45. I pick a different approach at the beginning, so I don't know if it's the correct one or not, but
no worries, Edric. We'll switch over once I say goodbye to folks and say our polite goodbyes. Then I'll be there for you, my friends. Hannah, I love your expression, violently enjoyable. And the thing is, it's a tough subject no matter how you teach it, and this is as fun and as accessible as I can humanly make it. And again, you'd have to shop and compare to attest to that. And you know, walking out, you learn something. So that's all I care about, right? If you had fun. Spencer, take care. I've enjoyed the class as well. And put in the work. Do what you got to do. Yeah. It's been a real joy, my friends. I recognize your names now. I know the folks who are hardworking.
Nice.
If you're a hardworking student, I want to see you in my classes again, whether it's logic or something else. Remember, I use logic as a means to an end. I'm a philosopher. I'm not a logician per se, right? I'm only curious.
A wizard.
Yeah, just like a secular wizard, right? Thanks, Samuel. I appreciate it. And Samuel, as always, you've seen how this gets deployed in other philosophy classes. Samuel is a philosophy major, and you know where all this Jedi training actually does, right? So we're looking for all this stuff like wisdom and truth, and it's a secure path on that. At least it's a nice tool to have in a toolbox. This deductive reasoning stuff is really nice to know. It's good karate skills. Certainly doesn't hurt, right? I had a great time with you today, especially. Yeah, take care. Same, Samuel. I'll see you Wednesday for metaphysics. Dimitro, thank you, my friend. Good, hardworking, and it was nice to see you at that talk. And yeah, go kick some butt. Make me happy. One of the joys is when I find out people did well. I don't look at the names, but when I find out people did well, then I'm like, yes, that's terrific.
Huzzah, huzzah.
Bye, Ignore. Thank you. I appreciate it. And let your friends know. That's Rate My Prof. Let my boss know. That's the evals. Those things are still there. I gave everyone 2%, by the way, as thanks for folks having done that. Have a nice day as well, Dimitro. Bye, Gersharanjit. Great work today. Yeah, and I appreciate everyone who takes a risk in the chat. Making mistakes is fine. You've seen me make mistakes. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. Remember, A+ just means you make mistakes less than 10% of the time. That's how university defines perfection. Yeah. Oh, Indivir, that's amazing. I appreciate that. Yeah, this online teaching, crap. I'm
Yes.
on there. Well, you reciprocate or not, that's on you. But I'll show up, have my coffee, stretch, and say I'm good to go, and then let's crack that whip. Let's make it happen. So, Indivir, thank you so much for an amazing amazing semester. It feels like summer. It's actually still the spring term. For what it's worth, folks, I'm going on parental leave for the rest of this calendar year, so I won't be teaching anything until January. So if you want to see me again, the soonest will be in January.
Yeah. Hey, good luck.
Hey, thanks, Edric. You take care. Edric, did you and Manav? We can talk after everyone's gone. I'm assuming you want to talk in private. and we'll stick around. Michael, Indivir, Edric, do you need me for something? If you do, let me know. I'll give you what I got, and then if not, then we'll say goodbye. And
Yeah,
I actually have a question as well for one of the questions. Yeah, Indivir, which homework? We can do that, and I'll keep recording so long as this is of benefit to others. So if there's going to be private conversations that happen, those are not worth recording. All right, so let's have a look at that. Third homework, question 16. Cool. Let's do that.
Oh, that one again. Cool. Is it the fourth derivation or?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. So someone's saying, yeah, Indivir, you can do that. Let me just find a. Actually, I'm going to go over the answers. I'm going to open the answer file as well.
Awesome.
And he said question 16. Yeah.
Oh, question
Michael,
16.
if you need, we're going over some homework, and because that's really a good use of our time. Answers. Let me just share screen that.
Oh yeah, it's 16. The one with the long conclusion.
Hello?
Let's have a look. Hold on. Edric, can you put yourself on mute so I can give Indivir some love here and see what the concern was, and then we'll chime in if appropriate. So you're looking at question 16. Indivir, can you see what I'm share screening right now?
Yep, I can.
Okay, thank you. All right, let me go to question 16. Obviously, I can't hold in my head what all of this is, so I got to go back to the actual thing. These are the solutions. Indivir, what was your concern with this one?
It's more so like of a way like how I did it. I just want to see if you can do something like this on question 16. Hold on, let me see where.
Let me grab a fresh empty grid for that one, and we can do it the way you did it, and I'll let you know if that's kosher or if there was some problems.
Okay.
All right, cool. Let's. That's the same question. Let me see. Conclusion is a P if and only if Q. All right, cool. Let me just move this out of the way. Was the solution I provided you with, which is the one that follows all the reflexes I recommended, was that clear, or was there a part there that you weren't sure?
I know how to do this.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's have a look at what you did, Indivir. You let me know what you did.
Okay. So I assumed that it was not true, so I did not P is equivalent to Q at the.
Well, that's not going to head in the right direction. But
yeah,
okay, because there's not much we can do with that. It's not like there's any De Morgans or anything we can do on that. But let's do it. Let me move that premise out of the way. That's a bad reflex. I'm going to tell you right away. I want to disabuse you of that. I'll humor you because it's office time. We're going to see if that led anywhere. But that's a really bad reflex. I'd want you to know that as soon as you see that, I have to kick into gear. It's a different kind of animal I'm chasing here. All right, so assumption, indirect derivation. That's what you did. What'd you do for line 3?
Yes, this is my main point to see if this is possible or not. Could you do a biconditional on the assumption of ID and say that the conditional is not true?
How would you show me exactly what you would type at 3?
So it would be say biconditional of 2, and then P, if P then Q, and all of that is over a negation. Could you do that or no?
Okay, tell me box by box what I'm going to type in. Like I'm an idiot. Spoon feed me the symbols.
Okay, negation in the first box.
Yeah.
And then bracket P.
Yeah.
And then conditional in the next box.
Yeah.
And then Q. And then
and where are you getting that from?
Like a biconditional of 2.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's complete fatal. That is not the right animal. It got swallowed up, right? This biconditional BC applies only to biconditionals. This is not a biconditional.
Okay. Yeah, I just I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Cool. I'm glad you asked. And I'm glad we got this on the recording. You can't do that. Not at all. Not even a bit. Not even a bit.
Yeah. I did it the other way, but I thought I could do it this way. I just wanted to make sure that I couldn't.
No. No, that's cool. I'm glad you asked. I mean, it does matter, right? This animal is only one animal. That's our law of the jungle. It's a negation. That's why that assumption I said, that's not going to be helpful. There's all you can apply on line 2 is whatever you can apply on a negation. That is it. The contents are opaque. As far as I'm concerned, what's inside the negation is completely irrelevant. It could be this. Let's say this would also be a mistake for the exact same reason. It's not like you can do negation, and then you've somehow got a P because you simplified at line 2S. I mean, that's horribly ugly, right? That makes no sense. You cannot play with these contents. They're in an opaque belly. Yeah, great question though. I'm glad you did it, because it's a productive mistakes in the sense that we flag it really well to say, okay, that's pointless and that's wrong, and then everyone can make sure don't do that in the test.
Okay, yeah, cool. That was pretty much all. That was the only.
Good. Well, that's a great question. Thank you for sharing, because I wouldn't have thought to mention that in class. It wouldn't even have occurred to me. But trust me, you talk about a jungle. I see all sorts of things in the exams, in the tests and quizzes, and all sorts of random stuff, in fact. And so I might as well flag that's pointless. Good. Indivir, all right, everything is good with you then? You got everything you need?
Yep, that was it. Thank you.
Good. All right. Well, you take care, my friend. I had a great semester with you.
Yep, you too as well. You made it really
All right.
interesting.
Good. Kick some ass and come back in my class again anytime you want.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Edric. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Same. It's been an absolute joy. I've got Michael and Manav. Michael, what can I do for you? Michael, that's a thanks. You need anything else from me for actual looking over stuff, or are you good to go? You know what you got to do? Yeah, cool. That's great. And I keep recording this stuff. So, if it could be of use, like right now, let's say it benefited Indivir, but who the hell, that's great for Indivir. But like if I can get 3 students to go, oh, and then they click, it's like that's collateral damage or collateral improvement, right? That's all I want. So that's good. Yeah. On that note, Michael, if I see you in class again, that's great. If you're hardworking, I always want to see you back in my classes. Yeah, that's so kick some butt and let's make it happen. Michael, I'm going to turn to other matters now. So if you want to say goodbye, there's no more to listen to as far as course content. Yeah. Bye, Michael. Take care. Hold on. All right, everyone. That's my final goodbye for everyone for the recording. I once again appreciate you working really hard and making mistakes in public. That's the only way we do it. Bump knuckles to everyone, and hope to see you in my classes again.